all the laptops should be closed and everybody should be listening to what I'm saying, because I'm giving you more importance by being here. Just as simple as that. So if we can agree on that condition, let's go with this. I was asked to speak on this, I should say that, linking academic research to business practice. Actually, a group like that. Raj was right, Raj Srivastava was right when he said that, I go talk to managers about problems. And it started when he admitted me into the PhD program at UT Austin. Rajesh Chandy, he rejected, but he took me. And I don't know whether you have regrets about it. But in the third year or so in my PhD program, there was a challenge offered by the Amoco CEO who said that we have a problem to solve, which is which oil field to drill. We have multiple oil fields, and we have a complex nonlinear model. And no engineer wants to use that to decide which oil field to drill. Who can help? So I was in a class in management by multiple objectives, and then I raised my hand and said, I'll try. Then he sent the data, the CEO, and then by 6 months or so, I had developed a model and I showed it to him. Basically, the title was Linearizing a Nonlinear Model. It's nothing to do with marketing. And they used it, I gave it to them, and then I went to the marketing, Raj was in the committee also, and told him, I want my PhD now. And they said, you got to make it marketing. And so we said that, okay, we'll tie it to revenue, like what this decision can result in incremental revenues. So we pitched like that, but then the condition was that they said, I cannot publish this. You did the PhD thesis, you couldn't. So 5 years later, the CEO called and said, your model worked. So now I give you permission to publish this research. So this was I don't want to say the years, it looks much older, but 1985 was the year. And 1989, the CEO called, and Richard Lund, and he said, let's co-author and publish it. So that's how my journey started. It was published in Operations Research at the time. And then my first job was, when I graduated from UT Austin, was offered by Jerry Eskin, who co-founded IRI, Information Resources Inc. He said, I'll give you all the data, don't go anywhere, come to me, I'll give you all the data. He was at the University of Iowa. Who wants to go to University of Iowa in a boondock place and nothing is out there, no life, nothing? But I chose to, and he gave a lot of data. That's how the journey started. So today, there's never a paucity of data. We have tons of data in our center. Every research that we do with the focus, relevance, and rigor. The rigor is there because it gives us maximum accuracy. Because when models are being implemented, it clearly shows something there that they have gone through the testing, and there is no other better alternative as of now. And therefore, this is what it is. So what you want to say and what they are interested in the business. So we look at the trade-off, and we don't never look at it as a trade-off. And then marketing journals today are skewed towards rigor. And this is consistently coming out that you're losing relevance. Great article, very well executed, but what does it mean? And so that's why in marketing we have started 3-4 initiatives. One is Marketing Strategy Meets Wall Street, where we are bringing a lot of relevance, and Raj Srivastava was instrumental in beginning this journey. Then we had Theory and Practice in Marketing, which we have JM, our editor here, Dr. Bob Meyer, is having a special issue with encouraging people to do research that's both rigor and relevant. And then we are also having a lot of conferences on this theme, small conferences with MSI. So these are some of the initiatives that you see there. And where do you get the sources of rigor? Typically you look at the theoretical contribution or empirical or analytical. It can be any of this. And one of the examples here we show here is with my doctoral student and the IBM executive is how do we apply Bayesian decision theory for decision making in organizations. They get scared listening to the word Bayesian. But if we tell them what are the benefits, and if you implement it, you're going to make $30 million more, yes, I'm ready. And so that is the takeaway here, came in JMR after implementing in IBM and so on. So that is, the whole problem is how to select customers, simple. Who has the higher, you have a lot of priors. And then we fit in with the likelihood function and show the posteriors that who has the highest posterior probability of becoming most profitable customer over the next 3 years. And then if you look at how do we achieve rigor from other sources, interdisciplinary, we read a lot of articles and we typically go into other fields, statistics, psychology, and economics. And also interactions with colleagues and doctoral students. So this is about the rigor. How about relevance? Always, if you look at the relevance, field experiment and pilot study. So we go to companies and we talk to the managers, as one of the examples. So cross-buy. I think one of the speakers in the past said that we built models on what is the next best product to sell. So cross-buy. We did that, 5 companies, 5 industries, and 4-5 years later, we asked them, how is it doing? They said, it's doing great at an aggregate level, but at the individual level, some customers are not profitable. Why is that? Because they're exhibiting some bad habits. And we showed 4 kinds of habits, and we talked to the managers again, so we found the solution and wrote it again. And as Shainesh was saying, so we got that covered in terms of the dark side of cross-selling. So who you should not cross-sell to and so on. So you have the relevance, the managers really set you straight. It is important to me, solve it. Then the reviewers won't hassle you saying, is it really relevant? Because you've already shown that through the interviews. So here is an example of an article where companies were firing salespeople. We asked them, how do you fire the salespeople? Poorly performing one, or they're demanding a lot and so on. So can you work with them to make them better? Oh, we don't do that. We don't know what to do with them. So we undertook a 7-year study with this company to showcase that how, when we allocate equal territories to the salespeople with equal potential, who is realizing that and who is not realizing that potential? As a function of how much training they had. The training interventions were product related, customer related, and selling related, how to sell. And then also peer recognition, incentives offered, and so on. So that is a study that we showed, and there are 2 major contributions here. One is that from backward looking, companies were making decisions based on who was the salesperson performing poorly, to forward looking, who is going to be doing better. So who's going to be giving me the highest salesperson lifetime value kind of approach. And the second contribution is, what are the drivers of that? So that's something that is an example of the relevance where companies are actually using the model. And then how do we achieve business relevance is, always implement and show the success. And how do we show that? The way we show that is to always implement the problem in a business and request the CEOs or the CMOs to come and co-author papers with us so that we can publish and showcase it. So, but how do you get these CEOs to come on board with you? One is to enter into the competition. MSI frequently has got a lot of competitions, and say that shopper marketing was one of them, and social media marketing is another one, and salesperson management is another competition. So we enter all those competitions, and then we get opportunity for the MSI trustee members, the businesses, to work with us, which is the Marketing Science Institute, MSI. Then speak in manager tongue, and that's very critical. So they don't say that it's a waste. So we always, I think Werner was I'm proud to say he's one of my doctoral students, Werner Reinhardt. He started the journey with when the seminal research was done on loyalty and profitability, which was his thesis. He went to HBR and said, you should be interested. Actually, in one of the presentations, the editor was there, and he said, I want to publish this. That started the journey, and consecutively it's gone on. So speaking in manager's tongue is very critical. And then the role of University Research Center. So here is where we have a unique center, which in traveling all over the world cannot find anything similar to that, which is we have the know-how in the center in terms of the people who are doctoral students, who are full-time staff managing the center, and also interdisciplinary students working, computer science, statistics and all. Only one goal. We bring a business problem to the center, we solve it and give it back to them in 60 days, 90 days, 120 days time frame. And that's something that has resulted in us having data that's not available anywhere else. So that is the research center. So the way it works also is they sign a contract, and we don't ask for millions of dollars. We just say support doctoral student and support faculty travel grants and so on. So many companies come and work with us. And what has happened is that these are some of the examples. So I'll start with IBM. So about 7, 8 years ago, IBM said that we really need to pick the right customers based on some metric, and they were using backward looking, who spent the most. We converted them to who will be spending the most, or who will be the most profitable, customer lifetime value. So here is an example of something being done for a big company in a developed market. So they said, oh, you can do easily things for developed market. So we went to emerging markets, India. Procter & Gamble approached us and said, we really need help in making more money for Tide and Ariel detergents, which you're all familiar with here. The problem is the competition, Surf Excel and Surf and others, lower tier, they are all out decreasing price. What do? We have decreased the price enough that there is no more revenue gain. The price times quantity is flat. So we built the marketing mix model in the emerging market and showed actually you should increase the price by 43% because it's price inelastic market. Everybody thought we were crazy. So they did that for this category, made $43 million more, and then openly declared it and became the second practice price competition entry. So then having done for developed and emerging, working with a company, the third one was Prudential, where they said, well, it's easy for you to take known brand and known product and do this. So Prudential had a product called variable annuity, which is a commodity pretty much. So they said, can you help? And Dinesh Shah here was the leading researcher there, working on this project by showcasing, taking a commodity and sort of positioning it in a way that if it is Mr. Jain and he is risk averse, the same product is told in a story as a risk averse product. And if Dr. Sheth wants to maximize the return, the same product, variable annuity, you can maximize the return. This is the positioning. No cheating, clear positioning. And based on the audience, the customer set. And they made, it's unbelievable. In 1 year, they made $450 million, $500 million. In 2 years, $1 billion. But both Dinesh and me didn't get a single cent. I don't know about him, but so here is a commodity. So you have developed market, emerging market, a commodity. Then they said, well, you need to demonstrate you can do with small business. So Hokey Pokey was Indian ice cream in Mumbai, and Ahmedabad is also there, Hokey Pokey ice cream. So Western India took a small business, used the social media experiments, creating a campaign in Facebook and Twitter, and then monetize the spread of a message. What is the value of the message? And so you had that Hokey Pokey. They made tons of money. It's a private company. They had 40% growth in sales and 83% increase in ROI. Today, after we have finished it in the last year and a half or 2 years, they've expanded it so much that now Godrej, Nature's Basket, is going to distribute the product in all of their retail outlets. It's also in Barista as a co-partner, and so on. So Hokey Pokey is done. And finally, they said, okay, you've all done this. What about non-profit? And again here, we have a doctoral student here, Amlesh Sharma, who's participating. He was at the Indian School of Business here. He said, I want to join your program, but with one condition, that you need to include me in a practice prize competition paper. I want to work with the company. If you can guarantee that, I'll join the program. I said, I'll try. So we did that with our Jan’14 here, our faculty, our head of the department, and Amlesh did this for Georgia Aquarium. They had a very interesting problem. They want to increase attendance. But when they increase attendance, what happens? Satisfaction goes down. And they cannot increase attendance beyond certain level also only because there's a fixed time, 9 to 5 or 10 to 5. So we had to come up with the scheme, the model, which will give us diagnostic information, how to increase attendance, at the same time how to increase satisfaction, how to increase revenues, and how to increase cross-sell, how to increase membership. You become a member of this non-profit, lifetime revenues go up. So all these different problems we solve and showcase it, and we were fortunate to be able to showcase this, all of this. And one good thing which John Robert started this along with Gary Lillian is that when you get recognized, you get a publication in marketing science, all of this. So that is what the motivation is, and every one of this project is with a doctoral student. Every one of this. So that is what we do in our center in terms of how we go about. And here is the P&G one case study that I talked to you about, that Ariel and Tide for P&G. And this is the competition from a higher tier, from a same tier, and then a lower tier. So we have to build, a lot of marketing mix models that are at different levels. And the map is India, and so there are 10 states. The data typically are available only at an aggregate level. See, that is another thing that the Western world is slowly understanding, that, but I wish they had understood earlier, is that you cannot get store level data here, the customer level data at the store level. It's just not possible. And so you have aggregate data, yet how do you make store level inferences? So you need models to do this, and so that's the kind of models we build. And this is the price war that they had, that they were pricing it at some level, prices were slashed, and battled for shelf space. You see the crowded shelf space here. And A.G. Lafley always says that individuals who work in nations where P&G isn't the leader, where it is struggling or tested a little more and learn in the cauldron of the marketplace. So always there is and those of you who were in the theory and practice in marketing at Harvard, he came on the video and addressed this issue, stressed this fact again. The fact is that we need to be leader, if not there is a problem. So again, the way we approach this, I don't want to spend too much time on this in terms of what it is, but again, your sachets are very popular in the emerging markets. You have the bags, and so for both these products, and so you need a unique kind of modeling where you need to model this sales as a function of this competition, as well as this sales as a function of lower tier. So it is a complicated process. And on top of it, you have the data at the state level, and then at the brand level, and then at the SKU level, but all at the aggregate. How do you incorporate all those heterogeneity factors and so on? So here is the brand, SKU, and the state level. So given this complexity, how do you build a simple model? We did that and showed the actual sales and the predicted sales for P&G. And they made 39 plus 4, $43 million, out of which they gave us credit for $39 million increase. So this is something that we typically do. That how do you speak in the manager's language is basically whatever you do, try to integrate them. It was never thought of this way. It was always thought of as post-hoc we joined everything that we have done. Each time we measured CLV, that was like 10 years ago. Then one company came and said, what do I do to maximize it? Okay, let's build a cross-buy model. Another company said, I have multiple channels. Is it helpful to put people, encourage them to shop in multiple channels? Okay, let's do a field experiment and try it. So that's how each one came about. And each of them, fortunately, and then Wharton published this book a few years ago. And then today, we have released, Sage is our academic partner, just last week or maybe 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. This was released at our entire customer engagement, which is, we are going to every company now and telling the next wave is customer engagement. Why is it important? Because I think Swami was saying, social points, that we are going to reward you if you buy something, and if you're also going to be talking about it to your friends, we are going to reward you. So we go beyond this. You can buy your profitability contribution CLV. You can refer the referral value contribution, how much profits you bring into, say, IBM through your referral. Then how much influence do you have in the social media? What are you talking about IBM in the social media, or about Hokey Pokey in the social media? How much profit? And then how much ideas? One of the questions I think at the back, you asked that, what about why companies are not listening to my suggestions? You know, why are they? Why in India there is stereotyped as they're price sensitive? Why can't they take my suggestion and put the market? And so on. So you have that as, no, we talked about, yeah, one more minute, I'll wrap it up. Yeah. So here we monetize it. Every suggestion given by the customer is taken as input by the company, and they produce the product or service, and we quantify how much money they made because of this suggestion. So all this put together, and we say that customers can be engaged. So this is the model that, you know, companies are implementing. So therefore, you know, what is the benefit for them? We showcase in terms of the increased shareholder value or share price consistently. This is one example. And, you know, this is our center. You know, I have explained to you what we do in our center. Systematically, we sponsor doctoral consortiums, we sponsor thought leadership conferences, we bring in executives, make them spend time with our doctoral students for a day or two. We bring in postdoc scholars, they spend time from Europe and Asia. So all of this are done you know, in terms of what it is, with the sole purpose of innovation. That's it, you know. So thank you so much. This is what in conclusion I want to say. Yeah.